Monday.
We are
Monday.
FlockFest. Oh, by the way, Faye, flock you. Flock you.
Can't believe
You
went
look like
there.
you've been flocking all
I've
weekend,
been
Al.
flocking all weekend. I'm very, very tired.
Are you flocked out?
He's flop.
Never.
He's
No,
flop.
that's not.
He's just a flocker.
Exactly. It was fun. I couldn't help but notice I saw Dino come, but then he disappeared, and I don't know what tent he disappeared into. But,
The prime 10.
yeah, the pride tent.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we're calling it, the pride tent.
The pride tent. There were a lot of prides.
There are a lot of prides.
Well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It's 8 p.m. Monday, July 12th, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited, live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the Happening Out television network, Hotspots Magazine, and We Make Events. Hotspots is celebrating 35 years of the LGBTQ plus experience. Merged, we bring you the best in LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our LGBTQ plus community.
This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson. Let's welcome anchor FayWhat. She's a radio and television personality and has the popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and MC for many South Florida events, an animal advocate, and owner of Faye's Fur Family, and is the anchor of the travel news show Happening Out Travel. And she has her own news show called The FayWhat Show. How original that is, by the way.
Thank you for helping me with the name, Al.
The FayWhat Show on Tuesdays at 7:30 live. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening, boys. So let's welcome anchor Dale Stine. He received a master's degree from world-famous Juilliard School. Pick that up. He's a well-known photographer and has been featured in innumerable magazine covers, feature spreads, CD, record covers, and websites. Dale is also famous for his photographs for internationally acclaimed DJs, producers, drag personas, politicos, business people, and entertainers. He is currently the director of music ministry at Unity on the Bay. He's also the moderator of South Florida's largest LGBTQ plus Facebook group, Miami Gay List. Welcome, Dale.
Thank you, FayWhat. Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Let's welcome anchor Tarek Turjuman. He is the host of Tonight with Tarek for Villain Theater, the only place for alternative comedy in Miami, and a member of the House of Yas, Villain Theater's queer performance art collective, and Florida's only all LGBTQIA improv comedy show. He is a queer Guatemalan-born Palestinian host and comedian living in Miami whose stories of his diverse upbringing and experience as a gay real estate agent will leave you baffled yet entertained. Good evening, Tarek.
I'm baffled. Let's welcome Dino Mosquera. He joined the Miami Gay and Lesbian Film Festival in the late 90s and now serves on the Outshine Film Festival's board of directors. He is the screening committee chairman selecting films for one of America's most important LGBTQ plus film festivals. Good evening, Dino.
Good evening, Tarek. Hey, everybody. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Monday, July 12th.
Let's queer up breaking Q news. Amazon Alexa reports Florida LGBTQ plus websites attract some of the greatest web traffic in the world. Here are 2021's top 33. Website traffic is the greatest measure of information in 2021 and how we consume it. Amazon Alexa is a gold standard that measures the amount of traffic or people that are visiting websites. And Amazon Alexa is reporting on more than 1 billion worldwide websites. It comes as no surprise that Google, for example, is #1 in the world.
But on July 1st, Amazon Alexa reported year-to-date results of many business categories, including LGBTQ+. The results were surprising. To be an LGBTQ+ business in the top 8 million of all websites on this planet is an amazing achievement. Amazon Alexa reported that Florida LGBTQ+ websites had 33 brands that achieved this incredible distinction.
This traffic report is where our community is going online and how we are consuming information. Here are the results of the first half of 2021 of Florida's top 33 LGBTQ+ websites in the world.
Number 33 to 30 included the Gathering Hotel and Twist nightclub in Miami Beach, Sawmill Camping Resort, America's top LGBTQ+ campground, and Fort Lauderdale's nonprofit service provider, Poverello.
Number 29 to number 25 included popular Wilton Manors nightclubs, The Pub and Hunters, major Orlando LGBTQ+ national party, One Magical Weekend, and both South Florida business organizations, the Miami-Dade and Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce and the Greater Fort Lauderdale Gay Chamber of Commerce.
Number 24 to number 20 featured Pride Fort Lauderdale, Miami's Wire magazine, our home here at the Sunshine Cathedral, the mega Wilton Manors nightclub, the Manor Complex, and South Florida's Outshine Film Festival.
Now we move into the major websites for Florida's LGBTQ+ community, including the iconic Gay Days weekend, the world-famous Key West Guest House Island House, one of America's largest LGBTQ+ community centers, Pride Center at Equality Park in Wilton Manors, the major LGBTQ+ political advocacy organization, SAVE, and Wilton Manors lifestyle magazine, Outclick.
Just outside the top 10 most popular LGBTQ+ websites in Florida included Tampa Pride, the hetero-friendly hotel Axel South Beach, another Pride event presented by Compass and Palm Beach Pride, and one of America's most important political advocacy organizations, the National Task Force, based here in South Florida.
Amazon makes special note of the top 10 LGBTQ+ websites in Florida in 2021 as reported on July 1st.
Number 10, Equality Florida. The largest state equality and advocacy organization in the nation is an iconic name for LGBTQ+ civil rights.
Number 9, Hotspots magazine. Hotspots is our sister LGBTQ+ media partner and is celebrating 35 years of the LGBTQ+ experience. They will present Bears in Lauderdale over Labor Day weekend.
Number 8, St. Pete Pride. The largest Pride event in the Southeast is an iconic parade and festival.
Number 7, Care Resource. One of the nation's best LGBTQ+ health service providers is also based in Miami-Dade County, serving all of South Florida.
Number 6, Miami Beach Pride, the iconic South Beach Parade and Festival, returns in September and is Florida's highest traffic Pride website.
Amazon Alexa website traffic rankings move into an entire new level for the top 5 LGBTQ+ websites in Florida. Now they not only have top global rankings, but the gold standard of USA rankings. Congratulations to this amazing list of the top 5 LGBTQ+ websites in Florida.
Number 5 is the South Florida Gay News. The news voice of South Florida is one of the nation's most recognized LGBTQ+ news sources, based in Wilton Manors.
Number 4, Watermark. The news voice of Central Florida is also one of the nation's most recognized LGBTQ+ news sources and is based in Orlando.
While technically not LGBTQ+ websites, our next 2 winners for Amazon Alexa deliver content to the LGBTQ+ community. Amazon reporting is for their entire website traffic.
Number 3, Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. The world's largest LGBTQ+ destination management organization has the largest number of LGBTQ+ visitors in the world, led by Richard Gray, a 2020 out of 100 recipient and the first ever LGBTQ+ tourism representative to be so honored.
Number 2 is the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. The iconic LGBTQ plus destination of South Beach is the leader for LGBTQ plus tourism websites in Florida and one of the top in the world. Miami and the Beaches is led by Dan Rios, one of America's most recognized LGBTQ plus tourism experts.
And it likely will come as no surprise that Amazon Alexa reports that more LGBTQ plus are visiting this website than in others in Florida, and by an impressive margin.
Number 1, Happening Out Television Network. Representing Queer News Tonight and its Happening Out, the traffic volume on the website is not only number 1 in LGBTQ plus Florida, but also in the top 17,000 of all website traffic in the world. Out of 1 billion websites, Queer News Tonight is a daily live LGBTQ plus news show that regularly attracts more than 200,000 daily viewers on social media. And It's Happening Out is a weekly LGBTQ plus talk show, like The View, that regularly has more than 50,000 viewers on YouTube TV alone.
At Queer News Tonight, we constantly discuss the value of community in the LGBTQ plus world, and that representation matters. These Amazon Alexa Top 33 represent outstanding presence in LGBTQ plus Florida and to the entire world.
Everyone at Happening Out Television Network congratulates this impressive list of voices in the LGBTQ plus community.
Is LGBTQ plus community important to you? We invite you to like and subscribe to Queer News Tonight on YouTube or your favorite social media.
This is incredible. It really is. And to see all the top big guns are in there, to see Save in there, Miami Beach Pride, to see the Gathering, but then to see us Happening Out Television Network at numero uno on that list is incredible, isn't it?
Very impressive.
Yeah.
And congratulations to
Thank you.
to the film festival.
To the film festival, yes, to
making
outshine.
it. I thought it was thrilling that Florida had 33 sites that made the top list. To be, you know, you saw some of those rankings of like a million in the worldwide rank, and you think, well, a million something. But when you're talking 1 billion websites
On the
that's
planet!
I feel so honored to be a part of some of those organizations, not just this one, but so many of the others, and to know so many people who are the heads of those organizations. To know those people personally and to work with them over these years is really heartwarming.
And well, you know, one of the other amazing things is it's a reflection of how people are consuming their news and their information and their social life. It's all digital now. And so Amazon Alexa is so incredibly important by telling all of us who is being successful and who has areas to improve. Next time they come out with the rankings, let's have 50 LGBT Florida brands. It's but it really, really great news, and congratulations to everyone that made the list. Well, next, let's queer up LGBTQ plus Cuba. Cubans denounce misery in biggest protest in decades. Shouting freedom and other anti-government slogans, thousands of Cubans took to the streets in cities around the country yesterday to protest food and medicine shortages in a remarkable eruption of discontent not seen in nearly 30 years. Thousands of people marched through San Antonio de los Baños. Did I get that right?
Baños. Yeah, you know about Baños.
Southwest of Havana, with videos streaming live on Facebook for nearly an hour before they suddenly disappeared. As the afternoon wore on, other videos appeared from demonstrations elsewhere, including Palma Serrano in the country's southeast. Hundreds of people also gathered in Havana in front of the Capitol, where heavy police presence preceded their arrival. Within hours of these extraordinary events, the president broke into national television programming to urge government supporters to hit the streets and confront the protesters. He blamed the United States for restricting exports, access to funds, and travel to Cuba, which led to widespread shortages. Queer News Tonight has deep relationships with LGBTQ plus Cubans on the island directly, but we have not been able to communicate with leading LGBTQ plus representatives since Sunday.
This is very close to my heart. I mean, as a Venezuelan living here, where Cuba goes, Venezuela follows. So this is very important to all of us. So it's long overdue,
Yes.
not to this degree. I mean, we've seen this before, but we are very hopeful. Everybody, expecting that this will continue and people will come out. I'm not surprised, not only food shortages, but medicine, the vaccine, they are allowing tourists to come in from Russia and other countries where they may or may not be vaccinated, and people on the island are not, and they're being exposed. So it's an outrage of
And it's so many different dangers, and it's across the board. Here in South Florida, we know so many Cubans. It's like little Cuba here, so we're all affected. We all know somebody that has family there that usually sends food and supplies and medical stuff over there, and they haven't been able to since COVID.
And money.
Money just to survive. How long can a country go hungry?
Of course. And I think something positive that came from COVID maybe is that it's proving to be a catalyst for many movements. Also, what's going on in Haiti has to do with COVID because it further squeezed these countries like Venezuela and Cuba, to prove what was really going on there.
Very good point, Tarek.
And the support on my news feeds in Facebook and on other social media here in Miami and South Florida has been vast. It's amazing the outpouring of love and support for Cuba in this moment.
And I think at the end that they got a lot of inspiration from BLM, from Colombia's protests, from the
and
fact that
this is the younger people who have lived under communism their entire life and whom their grandparents lived mostly under communism.
It's 62 years of this.
So they're used,
62 years.
So they're pretty sick of it, and it has to do more with their reality and not so much who's the political party and what kind of government, whether communism or socialism, is happening.
For our LGBTQ community, I consider myself somewhat of a
ambassador,
Cuban ambassador expert. I've been to Cuba so many times. I brought the first LGBT large group to Cuba, more than 600 LGBT to Cuba in its first visit. It was the first trip to Cuba. I have so many friends on island. It is a precarious time. I do not think good things are going to come out of what we saw yesterday. I think it's going to get very bad before it potentially gets better. We have seen this before, however. So the celebrating that I saw in Hialeah yesterday is highly premature, highly premature. But let's hope for the best. And actually, even for me, I postponed. I was planning to visit in early fall, another return visit to Cuba, and I'm postponing that. I'm very distressed also that I have not been able to communicate with many people that I wanted to communicate with on island. This is caused because the new president allowed much freer social media, and the social media is what has really set this off, because everyone is communicating with each other of knowing what's going on here, what's going on with vaccines, what's going on there in terms of food and medical supplies. Their vaccine is not successful. The Russians' vaccine is not successful. The Chinese vaccine is not successful. And the Chinese and other places are visiting. And Cuba, we reported here at Queer News Tonight, Cuba has had a substantial increase in COVID-19 cases without effective measures to be able to stop it. And that's what we're watching now.
Wow. Libertad. Yes. Next, let's queer up the road to Stonewall. Boston Pride abruptly shuts down because the community needs and wants change. After more than 50 years in operations, Boston Pride has decided to stop operating and dissolve. The group, one of the oldest Pride organizations in America, decided that the Boston community, quote, needs and wants change without the involvement of Boston Pride, end quote. And they, quote, care too much to stand in the way, end quote. Boston Pride was hemorrhaging support as of late, losing approximately 80% of their volunteers. And Boston Pride Board President Linda DeMarco expressed that she was going to turn in her resignation in the coming weeks. Issues that Boston Pride faced were complicated by thousands attending the Trans Resistance Massachusetts March held in June, separately organized by activists that said that Boston Pride continuously failed to represent or include trans people and people of color.
I'm not surprised.
50 years.
Yeah, this is happening a lot with a lot of major institutions, and mainly because it's mainly cisgender males.
That's the whole board. No, he's used to that,
Yeah,
but it's the whole board,
The whole
Tarek.
board is cisgender white gay males. And the reality is that most white gay males in industrialized countries lead pretty peaceful lives, without complications in work, without facing a lot of the dangers that people of color or trans women or people who are other queers have to face. So I think this is something positive. I think a new board may arise that represents who the queer community better.
Yeah, but I'm shocked that it's happening when so many trans people of color are dying, including in Massachusetts. So that this is happening and they seem to be oblivious to that. It's shocking to me. It's actually sad that we have to go through this when we just celebrated Gay Pride Month. It's not a good thing. It's not good optics.
Not a good look.
Yeah,
I think it's a great example of a very bad thing, meaning it's very ego-based as opposed to community-based.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they started having issues. They've been having issues for a very long time, okay? And then BLM happened, and the board decided to not support them. All right. So at that decision, 80% of the volunteers decided, nope, you guys aren't going to support BLM. We're not going to support you. Then they had the Trans Resistance March, Vigil, and Pride Fest on June 12th. That was put together by a trans organization and was highly attended. Highly attended. They never wanted to separate, but they kind of felt like they were forced to.
Yeah. Of course.
A couple of notes, somewhat similar to your observations on this story. First, it's a call-out warning. This Linda DeMarco, I hope you resign because you've said you're going to resign, and I think you need to resign. Don't be trying to take the resignation back. It's a reminder that nobody owns Pride. Prides are 501c3s, they're not profits, nonprofits, and no one owns Pride. And much of what I have read in this organizational structure in response to the trans community and the Black community is you can't operate a Pride organization like it's your own personal plaything. And that is a reflection of a significant number of resignations. First and foremost, you've shot yourself in the foot. Second, this Boston Pride is a perfect illustration for organizations, LGBTQ organizations all over America. You should be paying attention to this story because it likely could happen to you. To your point, I hear you loud and clear about white, cisgendered, LGBT, and mostly gay men. We joke about toxic masculinity. I take the joke very well, but I'm a very big activist of understanding what toxic masculinity and cisgendered authority in the LGBTQ means, and then say, and it shouldn't be that.
Yeah.
And Boston Pride's situation is a call out to Pride organizations and other kinds of nonprofits all over America that this is what you could face. Yes. We are in an evolutionary change, and we're either going to sit in the past or we're going to move forward. Boston folds their cards of going, well, we just can't go forward. Well, good. And you won't likely be missed. We thank you for everything you've done in the past, and now it's time for a new Boston. And for the rest of America, pay attention to what is going on at the new LGBTQ Boston Tea Party.
That's right.
The real Tea Party.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, now we queer up trans rights. 21 Republican attorneys general sent a letter to Biden attacking his pro-LGBTQ plus policies. 21 Republican state attorneys general have signed a letter challenging President Joe Biden's efforts to protect LGBTQ plus students and employees. Written by Tennessee Attorney General Herbert H. Slattery III, the letter alleges that the Biden administration has too widely interpreted the Supreme Court's decision in the landmark Bostock versus Clayton County case, which determined Title VII of the Civil Rights Act protect LGBTQ plus people from workplace discrimination. The letter from the Republican attorneys general, I have a problem with that word, which primarily targets transgender people, contends that the guidance issued to schools, quote, fundamentally misconstrues and improperly extends, end quote, the Bostock decision. It begins by arguing the decision should not apply to bathroom and locker room access, and appears to misgender transgender women in the process.
God, the bathroom issue, it's always been such a big issue. They just want to like go, okay, I don't want to go to the bathroom with you. Nobody wants to go to the bathroom with you. I mean,
they made it an issue because if you really think you shouldn't have a problem with anyone you go to the bathroom with in a public bathroom. You go in there, you do your thing, you get out, right? If you're interested to know who the people around you are, I mean, what do you
That
do?
tells you a lot of what they're thinking, you know, where their
Yeah.
mind is.
Where their
right?
mind is.
It
Where their
tells you
mind is.
what Republicans are full
Yeah,
of.
and honestly, I mean, I'm a queer person. I really don't care who's in the bathroom. I'm used to, you know, sexless bathrooms, you know, non-gender bathrooms. But I think that's all in an aim to maintain some power with their elective, with their people. You know?
Well, these are hot button issues.
Yes.
And they appeal to the base,
Yeah.
to the people's basest ignorance, really.
Yeah. And you know, the ignorance of the past. We were just talking about the transition that's going on in Boston and Boston Pride. It's the exact same issue here. The 21 attorney generals are living in the past. They're living in the process of trying to create a social cultural issue to try to win an election. But they're in the minority. I think it's hilarious that this letter that they have written to the Biden administration says that they're going too far in defining what Title IX said. Well, no, they're not. The Biden administration and the Justice Department is following what the Supreme Court said last summer, and it directly focused on this issue of the extension of Title IX to sexual issues, including LGBTQ. All of the attorney generals, Republican attorney generals in the world, can get together and hold their breath and stamp their feet like Veruca Salt, but it doesn't change the fact that the world is changing, and you either are going to live in the past or you're going to change right along with us. We know, of course, what you're going to do, and this is why you're going to continue to lose elections.
Let's queer up South Florida. FlockFest Beach Party brings LGBTQ plus creativity to charity fundraising. This past Saturday, a very large South Florida LGBTQ plus crowd celebrated FlockFest. What started as a few dozen friends hanging out on the beach in 2014 has turned into a massive gathering of locals and visitors, and they party on the beach and raise funds for charity. This year, the VIP tickets sold out quickly, and beyond the VIP area, the beach was filled with thousands more revelers. Sponsored by Hunter's Nightclub and Happening Out Television Network, the Fun Beach Party supports dozens of South Florida nonprofit and organizations. Floats and rafts shaped like flamingos and other winged creatures covered the beach and the water, and even the rainy start to the day couldn't stop the party. Dozens of VIP tents featured open bar and elaborate tent displays and costumes that made the event such a wonderful experience for the South Florida LGBTQ plus community. Mark your calendar for July 9th, FlockFest 2022.
I was watching you boys. I was watching all of you because you know that I was there as my hunky Colombian alter ego, Fabianque. And I was noticing all you boys in your little floaties and stuff half naked. No. Seriously, it was beautiful. I saw so many, so much diversity. There was like all sizes and shapes and ages, and just like everybody was having an amazing time. 600 men and 10 women. But it looked incredible. They did a great job.
Did 10 get in? How did that
Al told me it was like
Yeah.
700 people bought VIP tickets. So yeah, that I know for
That's
sure.
amazing.
More plus the people that were around also, right?
Yeah.
This was my first year, so I was.
You look like a pro, Dino.
I was going to say, Dino and I hooked up at the very beginning of FlockFest, and then he disappeared, and I could never find him again. Where did you go?
Yeah.
Wait, you're turning red in your
Can you
brown
see the
skin.
red?
I can
That's
see
a-
the red.
that's a-
You know what was amazing about FlockFest? This is the first time I've ever went, and of course, Happening Out Television Network was a presenting sponsor, and happy too. We were very happy and proud to be associated with it. You know, the most interesting thing is, yes, there were lots of beautiful men. Wait. There
Take
were
that in.
lots and lots of beautiful men, but it was fun because first, it really was a celebration that we haven't seen in a year and a half. Completely different than a pride parade or a festival. This was purely just have fun on the beach. And the other, which was lovely. The other thing that I thought was fantastic, I have been to events like this, national circuit parties, even beach national circuit parties. That's not what this was. This was, for me, older, larger. I'm not 151 pounds. This was an event that I did not feel uncomfortable at all. And the reason is there was an embracement of every color, every size, every age. There was, I had an incredible conversation with a 22-year-old and a 70-year-old at the same event. You don't see that. That's what was so unique about this amazing event.
Is that what we're calling it these days? Conversation? The 22 and the 70-year-old? No, yo pregunto, I just ask.
Let your mind go there. I'm okay with that. All right.
Next, let's clear up a different kind of pride. Celebrating Disability Pride Month. Disability is being called the silent D in diversity, and after a year of talking about how important it is for institutions and businesses to focus on diversity, this month pushes us to highlight those who our society all too often leaves out. The Americans with Disabilities Act was signed by President George H.W. Bush on July 26, 1990, a landmark law that prohibited discrimination against people with disabilities. In that same year, Boston held the first Disability Pride Day. July is Disability Pride Month, and it's not only a time for the disabled community to celebrate who they are, but it's also a time to better understand how you can become a better ally to our disabled community members.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. And you know how you should celebrate Disability Pride Month by volunteering at some of these incredible organizations that we have here in South Florida. You know, I'm part of Best Buddies, and we do a walk every year, and we also have like a prom, and it's an incredible, incredible feeling to be a part of an organization that big that gives back to these incredible human beings that honestly deserve the same rights as each and every one of us.
Did you all know, I'm curious, before we move on, Faye's getting ready to move us along. Did you all know that this was Disability Pride Month?
I saw an ad.
I didn't know until tonight.
I was going to say,
I
I just have to say to you, I love doing Queer News Tonight because I'm embarrassed to say I did not know this until
Had no idea.
production prepared this story. And that, in and of itself, the fact that I don't know, that means lots and lots of people don't know.
Right, because you're one of the most well-informed people I know.
Because you know everything, Al.
I try.
You have all the teas.
I learned it this weekend actually because of Sabrina Cohen in
right.
Miami. She's doing it, and
What she's
kudos to
doing
you,
is wonderful,
Sabrina,
yeah.
because she's wonderful, and it's going to be done once a month in Miami, and a lot of people can volunteer for this, set hours if people, to help people to go into the water.
It's absolutely wonderful. Along with trans, along with people of color, cisgender, gay men, this is one of the ways that you can help support disability
100%.
pride. Yeah.
So next up, Happening Out Television Network supports our South Florida nonprofit LGBTQ plus health providers. An outstanding example, Care Resource. If you need care, Care Resource can help, regardless of your health needs, immigration status, religious beliefs, gender, age, if you are insured or uninsured.
Care Resource provides a wide variety of LGBTQ plus services, including medical care, behavioral health, dental care, testing and prevention, transgender care, PrEP, Food for Life Network, and more. At Care Resource, they care for all who need quality health care and service.
Well, we are going to finish up next tonight's Queer News with what we call LGBTQ plus flash news. LGBTQ plus flash news. Richard Branson takes a pride flag with him to the edge of space to honor Pulse and the LGBTQ plus community. British billionaire Sir Richard Branson took a pride flag into space after being asked to do so by someone who lost a loved one at 2016 Pulse massacre. His Virgin Galactic sent its space plane into suborbital flight on Sunday. Branson revealed he had chosen to take with him a few select items with him into space, including family photos and a rainbow flag. Queer News Tonight reports he said that the LGBTQ plus flag was meant to remember the victims of the 2016 Orlando nightclub shooting. Branson said, quote, "Somebody who lost a loved one at the Orlando massacre asked me if I would do that. We also have many, many friends who are gay, and I know people who lost friends there."
Hell yeah, take a lesbian next.
I think it's wonderful in spite of the controversy around his spending all this money on doing that when there are so many people starving around the world.
I concur with you, Dale. I don't support this rush to space by the elitists, and it's just a flag. Where are our rights?
Richard Branson is a master in marketing, and in this case, as queer people, we are grateful.
As somebody who is directly affected by Pulse, I will forever say, first, thank you for taking the flag to remember Pulse, and I remember Eddie Sotomayor.
LGBTQ plus flash news. Pop star comes out by brazenly kissing both a man and a woman on national TV. This weekend at Ukraine's Atlas Music Festival, which was being broadcast live on network television, a singer apparently stunned the audience and broadcasters too. As 24-year-old Malovin was ending his Atlas weekend set, he stood beside a woman and a man he had performed with. Malovin grabbed the woman and began kissing her before walking over to where the man was and kissed him too. The pop star then grabbed the pride flag and waved it while yelling, "Yeah!" M1 Network cut the live feed.
Wow. This is what I call the one-upsmanship of Lil Nas X.
I think we're going to be seeing this a lot in this new sexual revolution, whether the performers are actually queer or not.
This is a great way to get back at their nemesis, Russia, right next door. I hope Putin like it.
Best coming out moment of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Next, let's queer up LGBTQ plus flash news. Kenyan Methodist Church approves of same-sex marriage. Wow. The Methodist Church's annual conference on June 30th concluded with some shocking new information. Same-sex marriages would be performed by Methodist ministers in Methodist churches. The vote passed by 254 with only 46 against, and it will influence 164,000 Methodist church organizations. No ministers who are uncomfortable with leading a same-sex wedding will be forced to do so, but no physical chapel may turn away an LGBTQ plus couple. One of the major regions affected by the decision is Kenya. Jedediah Maina, executive director of the Trust for Indigenous Culture and Health, said, quote, "We are hopeful that this will set the trend for more religious leaders and institutions in Kenya to support the full enjoyment of human rights by the LGBTQIA plus community," end quote. Deputy Director of the Kenya Legal and Ethical Issues Network, Narima Ware, celebrated the Methodist Church's decision, saying, quote, "It is wins like this that assure us that we will one day have a world where LGBTQIA plus persons will be able to enjoy their rights fully," end quote.
This is very shocking news to me. I follow a lot of what's going on in Africa and gay people. It's one of the most homophobic places in the world. There's laws that kill gay people, and the church propagated a lot of this homophobia. So I think this is good. We'll see.
Well, listen up, Catholic Church and Pope Francis. Times are changing, so it's time.
Who would have ever thought, in all of the reporting that we've done on religious hate against the LGBTQ community, that the International Methodist Church could have positive effects in Africa?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Billy Porter will be the first officiant to marry the first same-sex couple. What?
Pray tell. I was raised Methodist, and I know the schism that has happened in the Methodist Church in the last 2 to 3 years has been really appalling. It was really shocking for me, and I have a lot of friends who are still Methodist, and I'm happy to see this change in the Methodist Church itself.
Yeah.
Now we queer up LGBTQ plus flash news. These Caribbean countries still ban gay sex. If it is surprising, in 2021, but 3 Caribbean islands still have laws where it is illegal to have same-sex relations. St. Lucia, St. Kitts, and Nevis have laws on the books which ban and punish such relations between consenting adults. Laws carry a punishment of up to 10 years in prison and were criminal codes created in the colonial era. The UN Human Rights Council noted in a statement this week that, quote, "St. Lucia's archaic laws on buggery and gross indecency had a pernicious effect on society," end quote, and urged the country to criminalize consensual same-sex conduct and urged the countries to immediately remove the discriminatory and outdated laws.
Well, my first reaction to this is shock, not so shocked, but some shock. And I think the LGBTQ community in America should take back the word buggery, and we should make it a really super positive word that we just slam down everyone's ears. Buggery, buggery, buggery,
Buggery. None of these islands are getting my hard-earned money. Buggery.
There you go.
But many of these islands had my hard
Earn
Never
money.
mind.
This is the reason I don't go to travel in the English Caribbean, particularly the English Caribbean. They're not getting my money.
Well, you know, English imperialism had some of the most homophobic laws in the world. They colonized the world, spread their homophobia, and now they are one of the best places to live as a LGBTQ plus person. But they left all that colonial bullshit all over the world.
Yeah,
They're
boy,
responsible.
that's a really good point.
So that is our queer headlines for today. So let's catch up on the LGBTQ plus news surrounding COVID-19 with our special segment called Quarantine Quickies.
Queer News Tonight has been LGBTQ plus America's most important news source on the pandemic, as we have reported on coronavirus on every news broadcast since January 6th of 2020.
Tonight, we report the devastating effect coronavirus has had on the American and worldwide LGBTQ plus community in total cases and deaths.
But we also provide hope of a new light at the end of this long tunnel. First, we report that as of tonight, more than 2,431,000 LGBTQ plus Americans have contracted COVID-19.
We have watched the greatest single year LGBTQ plus health crisis of our lifetimes. More than 43,000 LGBTQ plus Americans have died from coronavirus.
But the news is improving, because as of today, more than 334 million vaccination doses have been administered in the U.S.
That is our COVID-19 news for tonight. Next, we report that Happening Out Television Network is passionate about our support for the LGBTQ plus community.
An example is Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine in supporting that partnership.
The network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ plus religious broadcast in the world, with more than 30,000 watching every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and it's totally live.
We encourage you to tune in. Our campaign of sponsorship proudly supports Sunshine Cathedral, It's My Queer Church. Now watch this.
My name is Gordon Woodworth III. I'm a non-binary pagan person from South Florida, an employee of Broward House, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
Finally, we thank Queer News Tonight's hotel sponsor, Best Western I-95 Fort Lauderdale. This is the closest and best choice to the famous Wilton Drive, and our hosts and guests stay at this LGBTQ plus ally partner. We encourage you to stay there when visiting South Florida.
So that's it. That's today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share this news with your friends and family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups you're a member of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your family and friends.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television news in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
I love how Dino says queer. I love it. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including FayWhat and Dale Stine, Tarek Turjuman, and Dino Mosquera, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. Good night.
Bye.